I mean, we get multiple offers, but it's not the days of 50 offers at a time. When the interest rates tick down, there's going to be 50 offers at a time. We're going to push home prices up 100,000 above asking price. That's real money. So our solution is buy that house now, and in the next year, you can refinance with me, and I will not charge you another origination fee at all. In fact, we're partnered up with a title company that will charge you an $1,800 flat fee for that title commitment and closing. So we've set this up so that if you buy with me and in the next year, the interest rates drop, and they will, you're refinancing and you're not paying origination fees, which is why a lot of people don't want to refinance over and over again, right? So again, another solution, because there's a lot of people in my area that do. They have that 3% interest rate, and they're sitting there going, well, if I downsize from this 4,000 square foot home into that 1,800 square foot rancher, I'm going to pay the same price because of the interest rates. It doesn't make sense. And you can't argue that fact. But when you turn and look at the fact that over the next year, we're going to see interest rates drop. They predicted it last year, and I said it wasn't going to happen last year, and it didn't. I'm not surprised. But they will this year coming up. And so you'll have the ability to, buy the house and then get the rate you want when those rates adjust appropriately.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So let me ask you this. I'm going to ask you this one last question, then I'm going to open it up to whatever you want to talk about. But let me ask you this question. What has been your personal, and I know you did the deal where you did a straight up trade for your house, one for another, but what has been your personal favorite real estate transaction throughout your career?
So I had, there's a few. So I had a family that lived around the corner from the church I belonged to in Pittman. And again, a single mom with a special needs child, and I think she had 4 children. And that house had so many projects and so many things going on. And she worked full time. And every time the house needed to be shown, there was something going on with the house. I remember going over there having to fish dead squirrels out of the pool, right, to show the house. But she had tried to sell this, and she was literally going to lose the house if she didn't sell it. And her name was Heather. Her first name was Heather. And, she would cry over wine, and, I'd pop up by her house to talk about something, and she would cry because she's like, I can't believe, she came from a military background. She's like, I can't believe I'm going to lose this house. I'm going to be homeless. Like, if I don't get something for this house. We got our house sold. It took time because it was at a time period when things weren't selling. And we found her the right house with the right school district for her special needs child. And to this day, I talk to Heather. And that's going back probably 13 years. It was one of the hardest. I mean, it seemed to me like it took forever. But she had this experience of dealing with 3 other agents that couldn't get it sold at all. And I got it sold, and I guess it was maybe 3 months. It just seemed to me that it was interminable, like, ugh, right? And every time I would go to church on Sunday, I'd be driving right past her house, and having to look at her and her kids. But when we got that done, it was one of the happiest. Everybody was jumping up and down, and she was crying, and to still talk to her that many years later and have a great relationship is nice. She sent me business. She keeps me informed. It's wonderful to see everybody blossoming and doing well. And her kids are adults now, and it's a very cool thing. Things like that stick with me.
That's awesome.
And fishing squirrels, dead squirrels out of a pool. It's like, it's funny. My son got into the business, and he's like, so like, what does this entail? I'm like, what doesn't it entail? I mean, do I say that this is something like, listen, if you have the ability to do this, you should be doing this yourself. But she was at a point, she was out working, she was doing all of these things. So I'm like, well, we had a showing, someone wants to go see it now. She's like, worried the bed might not be made. And what about this? What about? I'm like, I got you, right? Now here I am running around, putting dishes in the dishwasher, making a bed, fishing a dead squirrel out, like whatever. And is that the norm every day? No. But is it necessary? Absolutely. There are times when you become that intimately involved in their lives because you are the thing making the difference. And you got to take responsibility for that. That's why we have so many guarantees. You have to take responsibility. And ultimately I was raised by a Marine, right? So it's like, this is, if I'm busy, you're busy. And this is the way it goes. And so we just follow that philosophy. And my agents are the same way. I'll get an agent going, guess what I did today? I'm like, what? And they'll tell me, similar story. And I'm like cracking up, going, well, yeah, it's just another day in the chronicles of what happens here in real estate. It's part of what we do.
Well, before I ask you how people can get a hold of you, and before I ask you where they can get more information, is there anything else that you wanted to talk about? I've been kind of steering the conversation. I wanted to open up for you to to mention anything that you felt might be relevant.
Oh, thanks. Well, first I want to say thank you for taking the time and giving me a platform to talk about the things that we do differently. I'm very proud of that. And I will say, I've looked at different models and was tempted a few years ago to really go for growth. But I really have decided that small but mighty really just fits my personality better. And we get so much done. By so much, I also mean when we carry out to the community, we give back to the community too, Charles. So in the past 7 years, we've given over $200,000 to local charities. That is in Gloucester and Camden counties, and it floors me how much need there is more than ever. Just this past Thanksgiving, my son, his girlfriend, and my daughter and I went to went to a local place, and we fed 1,300 families, which were 5,400 people. And we were a sponsor, and I didn't just write a check. I like to go and be involved. So we helped load up all of the bags with all of the goodies, the fish, the turkey, the stuffing, the cake, the icing, the beans, all of the things in the bags, and then with the turkeys, and loaded them into pallets. And then, there was 15 for this community, and there was 150 for this community. And we loaded them into people's cars because there were different agents coming to that, had worked on who had the need in the community. And that was incredibly gratifying. I've done this myself over the years. My kids were kind of more scattered. And this year they said, Mom, because you keep going, we want to go do it. And
that's amazing.
Yeah.
All right. So how do people get in touch with you? How do they?
Yeah, so simple. So you can look us up on Google. Our phone number is 856-478-6562. Someone live will answer the phone 24/7 because I hate leaving messages or having to press a button. Or you can go to nancykowalik.com and someone will get back to you very quickly. I mean, we pride ourselves on getting back to people within 5 minutes. Sometimes it's 10, but generally it's 5 minutes that you're getting an answer back from someone who can set you on a path to get you the answers you want and for the outcomes that you're looking for.
Is there anybody that would be looking to do any kind of real estate transaction that you would not be interested in helping or not able to?
Tell you, I work with everybody selling land to selling mobile homes to selling houses to land development and commercial. I mean, it's funny, when I got into this business, they talk about niche. And what I decided my niche was Mulligan Hill and Gloucester County, because we're a suburb of Philadelphia. There's a lot of people that come this way that don't understand it. It's very different. It's like its own little country with the septic systems work and the municipalities work and everything else. So when it comes to anything that has to do with houses, land, we are a one-stop shop, and we've got you. And so, there are people that come to me a little outside my area. If it's a little outside, I'm good. If it's too far outside, I have partners, that will help us. If you're too far north for me. But no, I mean, when it comes to buying or selling land or property here in this area, and find your solution. We'll find your buyer, we'll find your seller, and make sure that you're getting your needs met.
Kowalik.com. What's that number again?
6-478-6562.
Thanks for being on the show, and thanks for watching the Cash Free Home podcast. Everybody have a great day.